Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a simple truthing. If you don't run your mind, someone else will. And if you don't lead your emotions, they'll lead you somewhere you don't want to go. We live in a world that constantly tugs at our feelings. Anger, fear, anxiety, envy. They're not rare guests. They're daily visitors. But the great news is this: you don't have to let them stay. You have the power to respond, not just react. And that's the first big shift, learning the difference between reaction and response. You can't control every situation, but you can control your internal environment, your attitude, your perspective, your decisions. That's where real power lies, not in what happens, but in how you interpret and respond to what happens. When your mind is disciplined, your emotions begin to obey. And when your emotions are guided, your actions gain clarity. This isn't magic. It's mental conditioning. It's emotional training. And like any kind of training, it takes effort, but it's possible and it's worth it. Control doesn't mean repression. It doesn't mean stuffing emotions down or pretending they're not there. It means awareness, alignment, and accountability. It means creating space between the feeling and the decision. And in that space, you reclaim your power. You see, most people are emotional spenders. They invest energy in worry, in conflict, in distraction. But the wise become emotional investors. They pour into what brings peace, strength, vision. They choose thoughts like seeds. They choose responses like strategy. Start with your inputs. Guard your mind like a gatekeeper. What you feed your mind shapes your emotional tone. News, people, voices, thoughts. All of it matters. Next, examine your self-talk. If you spoke to a friend the way you speak to yourself, would that friend still be around? If you want mastery over your emotions, start with mastery over your habits. How you start your day, who you spend time with, what you read, what you tolerate. This is the soil your emotional life grows in. And remember, this emotion is energy. You can either burn it or channel it. Anger can become action. Sadness can become empathy. Fear can become preparation. The emotion is not the problem. It's the direction you give it. The great life is not a life without emotion. It's a life where emotion doesn't run the show, where your values guide your emotions, not the other way around. That's strength. That's maturity. That's leadership. And that, my friends, is what it means to truly take control of your mind and emotions. Learn the difference between reaction and response. That's where it all begins. See, a reaction is what happens when you give your power away. It's fast, it's emotional, it's often regrettable. It's like touching a hot stove. You jerk your hand back, and you don't think. That's fine if you're avoiding danger. But in life, most situations don't require panic. They require poise. A response, on the other hand, is something you own. It's not just what happens to you. It's what you choose to do with what happens to you. A response takes a second longer. But that second is where wisdom lies. It's the pause where you ask, what's the best move here? Instead of just acting out of frustration or fear. Most people don't even know there's a difference. They think the emotion they feel is the command they must obey. But the truth is, just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to follow it. Just because you're angry doesn't mean you have to shout. Just because you're hurt doesn't mean you have to lash out. Reaction is survival. Response is strategy. And the people who learn to respond calmly, intentionally, they lead the room. They earn trust. They gain influence. They make better choices, build better relationships, and sleep better at night. It's easy to snap. It's easy to complain. But it's much more rewarding to take that breath, to gather yourself, and to respond like someone who's in charge of their life, not a prisoner of their impulses. And here's the secreting: the more you practice responding, the more natural it becomes. Over time, the gap between stimulus and action becomes your power zone. That's where you grow. That's where maturity lies. That's where your future gets built, one wise response at a time. Guard your mental inputs. It's one of the most important disciplines you'll ever develop. Because just like your body runs on what you feed it, your mind runs on what you allow into it. Every day, your mind is under construction. The material you give it, thoughts, messages, conversations, is what it uses to build your beliefs, your attitude, your emotions, your decisions. The question is, are you feeding it premium fuel or poison dressed up as entertainment? Too many people leave their minds wide open. No filter, no gate, no standard. They scroll, they watch, they listen to anything that comes their way, never realizing that every input has a cost. Every piece of negativity, every voice of fear, every message of comparison. It takes a toll. Maybe not all at once, but slowly, steadily, it wears you down. You have to treat your mind like a valuable garden, because if you don't protect it, weeds will grow, doubt will grow, confusion will grow. And it doesn't take long. One conversation filled with gossip, one news cycle filled with panic, one social feed filled with noise. That's all it takes to shift your focus from peace to pressure. So be intentional. Choose your influences like you choose your friends. With care. Read what builds you. Watch what educates you. Listen to voices that lift, not drain. Be aware of how you feel after you take something in. If it leaves you anxious, bitter, or restless, maybe it doesn't belong in your mental diet. Remember, you get to decide what comes in. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Don't hand over the keys to your mind to anyone who knocks. Be the gatekeeper. Set the standard. Because what gets into your mind shapes what comes out in your life. And when you raise the quality of your inputs, the quality of your thinking, and your living will rise with it. Practice daily emotional awareness. It sounds simple, but it's one of the most overlooked skills in personal development. Most people walk through life completely unaware of what's going on inside them emotionally. They feel something, sure, but they don't stop to name it, understand it, or learn from it. And if you don't understand what's happening in you, you'll never understand why you're doing what you're doing. Emotional awareness doesn't mean you sit in a corner and overanalyze your every feeling. It means you take responsibility for the way your emotions influence your choices, your habits, your relationships, and your energy. Because emotions are powerful. They're not just passengers in your life. They're often driving the car. And if you're not paying attention, you might find yourself going 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction. Every day, life gives you moments. Some are good, some are hard, and some just feel like noise. But each of those moments creates a ripple inside you. It could be a quick frustration because someone cut you off in traffic. It could be a slow, burning resentment from a conversation that didn't go your way. Or maybe it's a quiet anxiety about the future. If you're not aware of those emotional signals, they pile up. And what piles up eventually spills out. See, you can't fix what you won't face. And you can't manage what you won't acknowledge. That's why emotional awareness is so vital. It's not just about avoiding emotional messes. It's about taking charge of your internal world so your external world doesn't fall apart. So how do you start? You start by checking in. Just like you'd check your bank account or your schedule, you check your emotional balance. Ask yourself a few honest questions throughout the day out. What am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What triggered it? Is this emotion helping me or hurting me? And here's the key. You don't judge the emotion. You observe it. You name it. You get curious about it. When you feel angry, instead of reacting, you say, interesting. I'm feeling anger. What's really going on here? Maybe it's not just traffic. Maybe it's pressure. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's something you've been ignoring. But the moment you name it, you begin to separate yourself from it. That separation gives you space. And space gives you choice. Without awareness, you're on autopilot. And autopilot often leads to regret. But when you become emotionally aware, you become a better leader, a better partner, a better decision maker. Why? Because you're not just reacting. You're responding from a place of understanding. Think of your emotions like signals on a dashboard. When the oil light comes on in your car, you don't scream at the light. You don't ignore it either. You investigate it. You find the source. Emotions are the same. They're signals. Something inside you is trying to get your attention. And the better you get at reading those signals, the faster you can take right action. Now, this isn't something you master in a day. It's a practice. Just like physical health or financial discipline, emotional awareness takes daily effort. Some days you'll miss it. Some days you'll let your emotions run wild. That's okay. Just don't let that become the norm. Keep coming back. Keep checking in. Keep learning from what you feel. And understand this, emotions aren't your enemy. They're data. They're part of being human. But like any data, they only help you when you know how to read them. Anger might tell you a boundary was crossed. Sadness might show you what matters most. Fear might be a sign you care deeply about something. When you get honest with your emotions, they stop controlling you and start guiding you. So take 5 minutes in the morning. Pause in the middle of a chaotic afternoon. Reflect at the end of your day. Ask the questions. Pay attention. You don't have to fix every feeling. You just have to become aware of it. Because the moment you become emotionally aware is the moment you take back control of your responses, your direction, and your future. And that day by day is how you build a strong, steady, grounded life. One choice, one feeling, one moment of awareness at a time. Control your self-talk. It's one of the most powerful things you can ever do to change your life. We all have a voice inside. Some people call it inner dialogue. Some call it the mind's chatter. Whatever you name it, here's the true thing. It's always talking. The question is, what is it saying? And even more importantly, who's in charge of what it says? For most people, that voice runs on autopilot. It repeats old stories, negative thoughts, doubts, fears, and all the junk collected over the years. It says things like, I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. This never works for me. Or, what if I fail? And here's the kicker, your mind believes whatever you repeat to it most. It doesn't question if it's true. It just acts on it. So if your self-talk is toxic, your self-image will be too. Think of self-talk like a personal coach that follows you around all day. Now imagine this coach is critical, harsh, sarcastic, always pointing out what you did wrong and never what you did right. You wouldn't want to be around that coach, would you? But many people live with that exact voice in their head every single day, and they don't even realize it. But here's the good news sauce: that voice can be trained. It can be corrected. It can be transformed. And when you do that, everything in your life starts to shift. Your confidence, your clarity, your courage, even your results. The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to what you say to yourself, especially when things go wrong, especially when you're tired, disappointed, or under pressure. That's when the old negative programming tends to rise up. Listen for it. Catch it. And when you hear it, challenge it. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. That's a big one. Most people believe every thought that passes through their mind. But the wise person steps back and says, wait a minute, is that helpful? Is that accurate? Is that the voice I want leading my life? You've got to start feeding your mind with better language. Replace, I can't, with, I'm learning. Replace, this is too hard, with, this is stretching me. Replace, I always mess this up with. I'm making progress. You're not lying to yourself. You're choosing words that empower instead of defeat. Self-talk isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing a mindset that helps you grow, not shrink. It's about building a voice inside you that encourages action, not excuses. That calls you up, not tears you down. And it's not just about motivation. It's about direction. What you say to yourself sets the course for how you show up. Say, I'm overwhelmed, and guess what? You'll act overwhelmed. Say, I can handle this one step at a time, and you'll move forward with strength. Language matters, especially the language no one hears but you. Now, here's something else to remember: your self-talk doesn't just affect you. It affects the people around you. If you constantly speak down to yourself, you'll start treating others the same way. If you lift yourself up with truth and grace, that attitude spills over into your relationships, your work, your leadership. Make it a daily habit. Start your morning with words that build you. Speak with intention. Affirm your values. Declare your goals. And when negative thoughts sneak in during the day, as they will, don't let them stay. Confront them. Replace them. Speak to yourself like someone who deserves respect, effort, and belief. It might feel awkward at first. That's okay. You've spent years listening to one voice. It'll take some time to retrain it. But with practice, your inner dialogue will become your greatest ally, not your worst enemy. The world is noisy. People will always have opinions. Life will throw challenges your way. But if you can lead the voice inside your own head, you'll never be easily shaken. You'll walk into every room with a quiet confidence that comes from deep within. Because the most important voice in your life isn't out there. It's the one that's with you every moment, speaking when no one else can hear. So take control of your self-talk. Guard it, grow it. Because if you can lead that voice, you can lead your life. Turn emotion into motion. That's one of the keys to transformation. Most people feel their emotions and freeze. They let the weight of fear, anger, sadness, or even excitement sit in their chest like a rock, and they do nothing with it. But the ones who grow, the ones who make progress, they've learned how to convert those emotions into action. Emotion is energy. It's powerful stuff. Think about it. Some of the biggest decisions in history were made not in calm, neutral moments, but in deeply emotional ones. Moments of pain, of injustice, of passion, of vision. What matters isn't whether you feel something. What matters is what you do with what you feel. You can't stop emotions from coming. They're part of being human. You'll feel fear. You'll feel doubt. You'll feel joy, anger, frustration, loneliness, anticipation, all of it. And that's not weakness. That's not failure. That's called being alive. The mistake is not in feeling. It's in letting the feeling do nothing but sit there and steal your momentum. Take fear, for example. Most people feel fear and stop. They retreat. They delay. But fear can be fuel. It's the mind's way of saying, pay attention. Something matters here. If you learn to listen to that signal, you can channel into preparation, into courage, into movement. You can feel the fear and step anyway. Or take anger. Anger, when left unmanaged, becomes destruction. But anger, when aimed with discipline, becomes strength. It becomes clarity. It becomes a fire that burns away laziness and wakes you up to action. Some of the best breakthroughs in life come when a person says, "I've had enough." That's emotion, turned into motion. Even sadness can be a driver. It slows you down, yes, but it also makes you reflect. It reminds you of what matters, what was lost, what needs healing. If you sit in it too long, it will drown you. But if you let it speak to you, it will soften you, teach you, and push you toward change, restoration, and gratitude. Here's the truth. No emotion is useless unless you do nothing with it. Every feeling you experience can be used as a stepping stone, but you've got to move. You've got to take that energy and give it direction. Emotions with no direction become confusion, but emotions with clear action become progress. Now, how do you do it? You start by naming the emotion. Don't hide from it. Don't ignore it. Say, "I'm feeling discouraged," or "I'm frustrated," or "I'm hopeful." That's your first move. You identify what's really happening inside. And once you've done that, ask the next question. What can I do with this? Turn discouragement into determination. Turn loneliness into connection. Make a call, write a message, show up somewhere. Turn frustration into problem solving. Turn anxiety into preparation. Turn joy into sharing. Spread it around. Encourage someone else. Multiply the moment. The secret is momentum. Emotion is raw potential. Motion is what turns that potential into results. And once you start moving, once you turn that energy into something visible, something shifts inside you. You stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling overwhelmed because now you're not just reacting. You're directing. You might say, "Well, I don't feel like doing anything when I'm emotional." That's exactly when you must. Don't wait until the feeling passes. Use it while it's fresh. Channel it while it's strong. Emotion doesn't last forever, but if you use it right, the results can. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who feel the least. They're the ones who feel deeply, but move decisively. They use their emotions to stir up action, not excuses. They don't say, "I feel too much." They say, "I'll do something with what I feel." So whatever you're facing today, don't just sit in it. Move with it. Let it teach you, push you, fuel you. That's how progress happens. That's how lives change. Emotion alone won't get you there. But emotion turned into motion, that's a force that nothing can stop. Build mental routines. That's how you stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay in control of your life. Just like you brush your teeth every morning or drink water throughout the day, your mind needs its own rhythm, its own discipline, its own daily structure to function at its best. Most people have routines for their body. Wake up, shower, eat, work. But their mind, their emotions, no system, no structure, no training. They wake up and let the world tell them how to think, how to feel, what to focus on. It's like opening every door and window in your house and letting the wind take over. No direction, no filter, just noise and chaos. But the people who win in life, the ones who build something that lasts, they train their minds like athletes train their bodies. And they do it every day, not just when things go wrong. Mental routines aren't complicated. They're simple patterns that shape your thinking and protect your clarity. You don't need hours. You just need intention. Start your day with stillness. Before the noise starts, before the phone buzzes, take a few quiet moments for your mind. Sit with a notebook. Think on paper. Ask yourself what matters today. What am I grateful for? What challenge am I facing? And what's one step I can take towards solving it? This isn't wasted time. It's alignment. It sets the tone. It puts you back in charge. Then feed your mind, not with junk. Scrolling social media or letting headlines dictate your mood. Feed it with something that builds you. A few pages of a good book, a quote worth thinking about. A teaching that stretches you. Just like your body needs fuel, your mind needs nutrition. And here's another key: filter your focus throughout the day. Mental routines aren't just for mornings. They're needed all day long. Have checkpoints. Little moments where you pause and ask, what am I thinking right now? Is this helping me or hurting me? Because your thoughts can drift fast. One wrong conversation, one discouraging comment, and suddenly your whole day shifts. But with a mental routine, you notice it. You catch the drift and steer back on course. Build a routine for stress, too. Everyone gets overwhelmed sometimes. It's not a question of if you, it's a question of when. The difference is in how you handle it. Do you panic? Do you shut down? Or do you have a system? A way to breathe, to step back, to process, to reframe. When the pressure's on, the routine takes over. That's what gives you stability. End your day with reflection. Not scrolling, not distraction. Reflection. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What went well? What needs adjustment tomorrow? Write it down if you can. just a few minutes. You'll be surprised how much clarity you gain when you make a habit of closing your day with intention instead of noise. Mental routines are about ownership. They say, this is my mind, and I will decide how it runs. You don't let a stranger drive your car. Why would you let just anything drive your thoughts? Take back the wheel. Set up habits that keep you mentally strong, emotionally steady, and spiritually grounded. You don't need to wait for a crisis to start building these routines. Start now. When things are good, build them. When you're calm, strengthen them. Because life will test you. Circumstances will shift. But if your mind has structure, if your thinking has rhythm, you'll bend. But you won't break. And remember this. Consistency is more important than intensity. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a daily one. Small disciplines repeated over time lead to big results. That's how progress works. Not with a single breakthrough, but with daily practice. So build a routine. Morning, midday, evening. Create space to think, to reset, to focus. Protect it, prioritize it, and over time you'll notice something powerful. Your mind gets clearer, your emotions more stable, your reactions more intentional. That's not an accident. That's the reward of training. Because in the end, the strongest people aren't the ones who never feel pressure. They're the ones whose routines keep them ready for it.